Welcome back. All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the physical and human geography of India. It's an incredibly diverse region, and by looking closely at how its natural features map out, we can understand exactly why this part of the world looks and functions the way it does today. To make sense of this massive subcontinent, we're going to build it layer by layer. We'll start with mountains and plains, trace the rivers, map the coordinates and climate, dig into minerals and soils, look at cities and population, and finally, wrap it up by mastering the map.
All right, Section 1, Mountains, Plateaus, and Plains. Let's lay down the bedrock foundation.
Check out the anchoring features of this landscape. Right there in the south, you've got this massive, triangular Deccan Plateau sitting just below the Narmada River. And over to the east, that's the Chota-Nagpur Plateau. Remember that name, because as we'll see a bit later, it is an absolute treasure trove of minerals.
Now, what's truly staggering here is the sheer scale. The Himalayas aren't just a cluster of mountains, right? This is a massive 2,400-kilometer arc. It runs continuously all the way from the Indus to the Brahmaputra River. It's basically a giant natural wall that dictates the climate of the entire north, and crucially, it physically shields the subcontinent from freezing Central Asian winds.
Below those towering peaks, the landscape just flattens right out into the sprawling Gangetic plains across North India. And wrapping around the southern peninsula, we have these incredibly diverse coastal plains. On the western side, bordering the Arabian Sea, you've got the Konkan, Kanara, and Malabar coasts. Head over to the eastern side along the Bay of Bengal, and you'll find the northern Sirkars up top and the Coromandel coast down below. These coastlines serve as absolutely crucial hubs for maritime trade.
Moving to Section 2, Rivers and Water Bodies. Let's map out the vital arteries carving through these landscapes we just explored.
When you trace this intricate network, it is crystal clear. Water is the literal lifeblood of the country. Beyond the sprawling river systems, a few major coastal features really stand out. Take the Palk Strait, for instance, that narrow channel of water tucked right between Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka. Or head up the eastern coast to Shoka Lake, which actually holds the title of India's largest saltwater lake.
So the key takeaway here is understanding the fundamental difference between the river systems. Up north, you have the Himalayan rivers, like the Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. These are fed by melting mountain snows, meaning they flow year-round. But down south, the peninsular rivers, think the Godavari, Krishna, and Narmada, are a totally different story. They rely heavily on seasonal rainfall to keep flowing.
Here's a crucial pro tip. Large catchment areas plus intense seasonal monsoons equal massive, rapid flooding. It gets so severe that it famously earned both the Kosi and Damodar rivers the heavy title of sorrow for Bihar and Bengal, respectively. You can also spot the stark contrast between that brackish Chilka Lake in the east and Wooler Lake, a super vital freshwater body way up in Jammu and Kashmir.
On to Section 3, Coordinates and Monsoon Climate. Let's see how India's exact spot on the globe drives its powerful weather patterns.
Right across the middle, the Tropic of Cancer slices the country almost perfectly in half. And this isn't just an arbitrary line drawn on a map. It actually marks the northernmost limit of the sun's apparent motion, which creates a huge climatic divide between the northern and southern halves of the nation.
Then, running vertically, we have the standard meridian. For a country this incredibly wide, standardizing time is a massive logistical challenge. So this single longitudinal line passing right through Mirzapur is what harmonizes time across this vast landscape. It keeps the whole country ticking on a single clock, exactly 5.5 hours ahead of GMT.
And this is where we see India's dramatic weather engine in action. On the left, the advancing southwest monsoon winds sweep in off the ocean, delivering those absolutely crucial summer rains. But contrast that with the northeast winter monsoon on the right. The winds reverse and blow over land, but remarkably, they pick up moisture over the Bay of Bengal just in time to dump winter rain right on the southern Coromandel coast.
Section 4, Minerals and Soil Distribution. Time to dig a little deeper and see what's beneath the surface.
Underneath is varied terrain like critical resource hubs that literally fuel the nation's industry. You can spot the iron mines of Singhbhum and rich coal deposits in Jharia, both clustered right in that Chota-Nagpur Plateau region we flagged earlier. For oil, you've got Digboy in the extreme northeast, which is actually the oldest operating oil field since 1866. And out in the Arabian Sea, there's the massive offshore Mumbai High.
Now you can see how the physical features and climate we just talked about directly create these four distinct soil types.
Heavy monsoon rains cause intense leaching, giving us laterite soil. The prolonged weathering of crystalline rocks creates red soil, while the breakdown of ancient lava rocks forms the black soil. And finally, alluvial soil is quite literally brought down from the mountains and deposited by those massive river systems.
It all comes together so perfectly when you look at the map visually. Notice how that nutrient-rich alluvial soil beautifully traces the exact path of the major northern and eastern river systems. It totally transforms those plains into an absolute agricultural powerhouse.
Section 5. Cities and Population Density. Let's look at how humans have settled across this diverse, resource-rich landscape. To put this into perspective, over 27% of India's population lives in urban areas, spread across more than 5,100 towns. Because the sheer volume of people is so high, cities are strictly classified by these massive population thresholds. A metropolis holds between 1 and roughly 5 million people, but a megacity, that boasts a staggering population of over 5 million residents. Looking at the density across regions, the numbers are absolutely wild. Just notice the stark contrast here. You've got the National Capital Territory of Delhi sitting at the highest density with 11,297 persons per unit area. Compare that to the incredibly sparse density in the mountainous state of Arunachal Pradesh. It perfectly mirrors the physical challenges and advantages of the terrain we just mapped out.
1,210.19 million. That massive number was the total population of all India according to this 2011 map data. Unsurprisingly, the fertile plains and resource-rich regions heavily dictate where people settle, with states like Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Bihar leading the overall count by a very wide margin.
Finally, Section 6, Mastering the Map. We've built the subcontinent from the bedrock up, so let's put all these pieces together.
Because geography isn't just about memorizing facts from a textbook, right? It's about spatially understanding how all these incredible features, the towering mountains, the intense climate, the sprawling rivers, and the massive cities all connect on a blank canvas. If you understand the map, you understand the country.
So as you look at this blank map, try to visualize the layers we just built. Where does that monsoon hit first? Where exactly does the coal lie? Ask yourself, how does the geography beneath your own feet shape the way you live, work, and thrive? Think about that for a second. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and until next time on this explainer, keep your eyes on the map.